Greetings, and welcome back to I'd Lather Be Shaving. I'm Douglas Smythe from PhoenixShaving.com, and to my left,
Matt Pisarcik, Razor Emporium.
And former altar boy. Today, we are giving you pretty much what you wanted. And what you wanted was, well, more on blades.
Blades, Part 2.
Dos.
The drama sequel continues.
It's true. The saga, in fact, continues. And we will be, just pretty much touching upon everything we missed. And we did kind of rush through it last time. We didn't have much time.
It's a lot of coverage, a lot of stuff to cover.
It was 120 degrees in here.
Seriously.
Now it's bright and early. That being said, good morning.
Let's get started.
Booyah!
So,
Blades.
So last time we forgot several things. One of the most common things people ask all the time is, what am I supposed to do with my double-edged blades? Like, blades,
Blades, glorious blades!
I mean, this is rusty too, so I'm taking some chances for you.
He's holding it quite close to my unshaven face.
But my wife's a nurse, and this is something that you can get from a pharmacy or a drugstore or whatever, but these are awesome for sharps disposal, and once you seal them, they cannot be
reopened.
Yeah, so you can put them in and kind of close, but once you put this little tab down,
it locks.
It's in. But yeah, these are great for needles, double-edged blades,
all that fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. But obviously the most safest way, and then when you're done with this, you can always probably bring it back to a pharmacy.
Oh, you definitely can.
And give it to them, but this is probably like a lifetime of blade usage.
Yeah, a sharps container. Sometimes they'll charge you, sometimes you get it for free depending on the pharmacy. But yeah, and it's a great place to dispose of the blades when you're done, because most people don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Do I chuck it out? Do I throw it in the recycling bin? Sharps takes care of it all. That being said, however, if you are keeping your own blade bank that you've created on your own, you can try bringing that back to the pharmacy as well. And
yeah.
They will transpose.
Just make sure it's kid safe. Make sure it's sealed. You can't open it up. Little ones love blades. Another kind of cool thing that came with one of the razor collections that we've acquired in the past was this razor blade discard. So literally, you can cut a hole in
what card? Discard.
Discard. You could cut a hole in the bathroom drywall.
Your wife's gonna love that.
And just insert this little blade disposal, and then I guess like these tabs kind of bend out or something, but more or less you make your own disposal.
Oh, they press in.
Yeah, it's kind of like the concept from medicine cabinets, right?
That's right. One thing we did leave out of our first episode. Most medicine cabinets, some people are like, well, that predate 1973 or whatever, will have a cutout in it. But a lot of modern ones too. When you're at Home Depot and other hardware stores, you will still see a slot in there. Though it's not stated what that slot is for.
You know what it's for.
We know what it's for. And now you know what it's for if you didn't before. There's a lot of
Funny enough, I heard that airlines, I can't confirm this, I heard airplanes actually still have a blade disposal slot.
Some of them do.
Even though you can't even bring a double-edged blade on a plane.
Talk about, ashtrays. Ashtrays too.
And the new smoking signal comes on, like, who's over there?
Yeah, and it's like, don't disconnect the fire alarm in the bathroom. It's like they totally toy with your emotions if you're a smoker. You have an ashtray on your seat, you have one in the bathroom.
There's a double-edged disposal blade system.
No.
You can't use it. But funny, seriously though, old hotels, old houses, grandma's house, if you look in the medicine cabinet, chances are you're gonna find that slit. And if you're ever remodeling, be careful.
If you're a contractor, you know what we're talking about.
You know what we're talking about.
When you break that wall down in the bathroom in a house that's 100 years old, blades pour out.
Yep.
Sorry.
And we did show this last time, but I just love it so much to show it again. This is an awesome kind of thing maybe you can try to find to pick up. It goes on the wall, and so it doesn't go inside of your stud cavity like this or medicine cabinet.
Stud cavity.
Yeah, you have cavities, you're a stud. But it does do a great job of holding probably several months or years worth of blades.
And it's awesome. What else we got?
Well, so one of the other big questions was, when you're out collecting or you're picking up razors for the first time, you may come across old blades. And you've kind of wondered,
you will.
Okay, so what is some of these different blades, what do they correspond to? Are they collectible? Are they historical? Is
there meaning in the shape?
So Gillette invented the double-edged blade. Remember, their invention wasn't the handle. That was the Canty brothers 25, 30 years before. But it was the disposable throwaway blade. And the original one started off like this, what we refer to as 3 holes.
He refers to it as that.
Well, it was his...
Don't touch me with your elbow.
Yeah. Well, there is one kind of cool collectible thing about this. So if you look at these numbers, 7, 10, 9, 14. Do you have any idea what those mean? I mean, other than your lucky lotto numbers.
Oh,
7,
that was
10.
manufacturing, so they knew which way they were looking at it.
Right, so 7.
A lot of people think it has to do with flipping, though, or counting the amount of time.
On the modern Astroblades, you're absolutely correct.
I'm absolutely correct.
On the Astroblades. Back in this day, though, that is the month of the year, so that's October. This is the day of the month, that's the 9th, and this is the year, 1907. So October 9th, 1907, lot number 14 was the steel lot they used. So if you ever see an old Gillette blade, that's how you can date it. And if you find it in the razor handle or in the razor set, sometimes you can really narrow down when it was from, if it is the original blade. Like it's crusted in there, you can kind of take a guess that it's been there for a while. But anyhow.
You're talking about dating the razor.
Yeah. But how did we get exactly from the old 3-hole design to what we see today as this modern cutout shape with always kind of scars, as I call them?
Like,
yeah.
I've seen this tattooed on people's arms.
Yeah, you see this everywhere.
Yeah. But just the shape, though, in the center, not necessarily a blade. Like, people are really, like, exploiting that shape.
Yeah, it kind of...
But where does it come
iconic.
from, Matt?
Why does it start off with 3 holes? Well, so Gillette, as they are today, are always trying to up the game with blades. You know, 2 blades with a sensor, 3 blades with a Mach 3, 5 blades with a Fusion. Well, this whole need for changing up the blades is the whole game. The entire history was this game. And they were trying to basically lock out their competitors. So Gillette had a patent. No one else can make double-edged blades. But then comes along Howard Gazeman and Proback Safety Razor Company.
Oh, yes, Mr. Payback himself.
Yes. And so you start seeing, he put in a patent to change these little tabs. And there's actually 8 or 9 different shapes, which we have here in our Fancy Dancy Safety Razor Compendium book. You can
Fancy Dancy.
Some of these different shapes, and we'll probably have on the screen here for your viewing pleasure as well. But more or less, it was trying to lock out that you couldn't put a 3-hole blade onto his handle. That won't go on. Check that out.
I can see.
Okay.
I don't want to touch that.
You don't need to touch that. Well, it won't go on. So Gillette was like, ooh, we're going to be fancy here, and we're going to overthink this, and we're going to come up with a new blade style. So they called it the new Gillette blade. This is 1930.
Clever. Always clever with their names.
So this is the last Gillette blade that doesn't conform to the style. So here's a thin blade from just a few years later. This is the shape we all know and love. Here's the Gillette new blade. And as you see, this really important word right here, patent pending. Well, guess what? They didn't realize that the Autostrop company had already filed the patent. And so when they actually were granted the patent, Gillette was now infringing upon that patent with these little tiny cutouts. And thus, Gillette was acquired by the Autostrop Safety Razor Company in this blade war. So basically all these little shapes, all these shapes you see were done after the merger occurred to kind of say, well, no matter what guard you ended up getting from this war, it's gonna work. Every little cutout that the Autostrop company came up with can work with this blade. And that was in 1931. And the blade was never changed again. We've been using the same cutout until 2017.
Yeah, I think they were actually anticipating some of the shapes to come too, for the interface.
Right.
Kind of like Nintendo. Remember they had that interface on the bottom that you popped open and it was there. It was like, what does this do? Never did anything, but they were just anticipating something in the future. Some of you know what I'm talking about.
But if you see this little registration, then that'll obviously take this kind of blade that, like I was showing earlier, will not take a 3-holer. Can't get that on.
Stupid 3-holer.
Those damn 3-holers. But the new will, obviously. That's they were incorporating that. But needless to say, that is the story of the Blade Wars. I don't know why I always like that story, because when you look at a blade, you think it's some arbitrary theme, but it really is all these.
It's like your comfort story. Like when in doubt, you go to the Blade Wars.
I know. It's my war story.
It's a good story. What else we got?
What else do you got? Because I see this crazy weird pyramid over here. Is that
That's
part
right,
of a Halloween costume or something?
This is not, actually. This is pyramid power. Pyramid power at its best.
Do you want me to join a pyramid scheme, like multi-level marketing?
I was thinking more of a cult. Led by me. Back in, this comes from the 1930s. Antoine
Net?
Bovis, I believe, came up with the concept of pyramid power.
Sounds pretty bogus.
It is pretty bogus. It's pseudoscience. I feel like I should have longer hair while I'm telling you this. You ever notice that, like, on these, like, pseudoscience programs,
Aliens!
They always have funky hair, ponytails. Like, it's like I seek these guys out. Regardless, Antoine Bovis came up with the concept in 1930. In the 70s, it gained traction. Pyramid power. Pyramids were suspected to keep blades sharp, your fruit fresher, it would last longer, decomposing animals wouldn't decompose, so on and so forth, as long as they were kept inside the pyramid.
So you could have a decomposing squirrel in there. The moment you take it out, it's like a vampire. Like sees the sunlight, just
Not
decomposes.
really like that, but you could have a decomposing squirrel in there with blades stuck in it, and know that decomposition is stopping there, and the blades will not get dull.
And they remain sharp. Sounds totally.
So we're
legit.
testing this on today's
Sign
show.
me up.
Yeah, this is like a real thing, and we're testing it today with some blue blades and some Gillettes and some other vintage blades, and we're gonna leave them under this pyramid for about 3 years and get back to you on that how this turned out. Because we're not using this pyramid for anything else really. Although I might wear it on my head later on today.
I could see that. Like I said, a Halloween costume.
Yeah, I guess I did pyramid head, triangle head. So
I like shapes.
You know, and
Why do people think it works?
why do people think it works?
Because crystals, voodoo,
Yeah.
hoodoo, you do.
My name is the babe.
No, the thing is, why do people think it works? And I don't want to diss anybody out there. I mean, it's just been scientifically proven that this is untrue and doesn't really work. Why do people believe anything?
They want to.
It's just humans. We're not as sophisticated as we think we are.
But there are other things.
We didn't
Give
upgrade.
me the pseudoscience.
Oh, the pseudoscience. The pseudoscience is that this will keep you around longer for the most part.
It's like a vortex
It's like a triangular preservative, if you
Energy?
will. Energy, the
we don't know
vortex.
is what we're saying.
I have no idea why. If you want to find out more about pyramid power, Wikipedia.
DouglasSmythe.com.
DouglasSmytheChannel.com. It's not there. But yeah, it will be. But that's all I really got on that. I just wanted to include this because, well, I have one. I don't really have one. I'm borrowing that.
Well, so while that may do something to keep blades sharp, these other kind of blade sharpeners, may kind of be a little bit closer to a reality of keeping a blade fresh longer.
Possibly. It might be less pseudoscience involved here, although this was kind of dispelled back in the day. We're
going to give it a shot.
We've read different things. And, in this one itself, the Aloxi safety blade hone, which we're looking at here.
Now, is yours curved? Mine has kind of like an angle to it.
It's not, that's it.
But no, yours is like a smooth transition. Mine's like a hard curve.
Well, this one is actually made by a honing company, like Aloxite. I was calling it Aloxi. Aloxite they actually made hones
right.
for straight razors and whatnot. So here's that if you want to check that out.
This one is by.
They were known as a quality company, so their move to this is what kind of gives it a little bit of more street cred for me. That they kind of knew what they were doing. Maybe they just wanted to hop in on the game. I don't know, but again, carbon steel is what we're suspecting. These might actually work.
Right. So yours is supposed to go like a bill, like back and forth.
No, you're supposed to do circular motion.
Okay, I just read the directions that quickly.
As did I.
You're welcome. And apparently with mine, you're supposed to actually go back and forth like this.
See, with mine, it says place blade in the hollow or concave side of the hone.
And go in circles.
By using 2 fingers, move the blade in a circular direction.
Okay,
5 or 6 light rotations. Rotating strokes rather. Then turn the blade over and repeat the action.
I'll tell you what, this old Proback blade that you handed me earlier, it's at least taking the rust off. Like I'm looking at the edges getting shiny. So it's at least doing
give me
that.
something rusty. So wait, now we're gonna shave.
Give me
with
something
these.
rusty.
Mind if I call you Rusty? Rusty. Rusty.
Not even once.
Okay, so whatever one we pick, we're gonna use, right?
Actually, hold on. On a really serious side note, when you use vintage blades, rust is something that you really got to be really careful with because you can get. People always think about blood pathogens, like I'm gonna get AIDS or hepatitis.
No, people don't
Rust,
always think about
lockjaw, tendonitis is something you can get no matter how old the blade is because it doesn't die.
Tendonitis?
Tinnitus?
Tenacious D.
Tetanus!
Oh.
That's the word.
Yeah, but tetanus actually doesn't come from rust; it comes from dirt.
Well, lockjaw comes from rust.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so I guess we're doing this.
We're doing it.
You're gonna shave without the
Oh.
sharp, and then you're gonna go to the hone to see if it improves it.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
That makes much more sense.
let's get started.
This is science after all.
Pseudo.
Okay, so What am I doing now? I'm loading the blade together.
We are loading a. So we thought we'd grab a carbon steel blade because we also heard
Who
a
are you
myth.
talking to? I'm right here. Oh, right.
We also heard the myth that stainless steel doesn't act as well, and so we're gonna go with carbon steel uncoated blades. These are the famous Gillette blue blades, unopened, new old stock. We are gonna shave first as they came, and then we're going to hone them and see if it improves performance. So carbon steel uncoated L1. I wish I could remember what year that came. That corresponds to. It's probably no 40s. This is before the Super Blue.
The Super Bowl?
Super Blue.
Oh.
We'll pop it up on screen.
Okay, L1 is gonna be in the 40s. So I'm gonna load this up into a Gillette Fat Handle Tech, which is my go-to safety razor for shaving videos.
I'm gonna load this up into the Phoenix Bakelite based on the Fasan open comb slant, which I'm a huge fan of. And I'm putting this in backwards.
Okay, so here it goes.
Do one cheek without stropping, and
Okay.
then one with.
One without. Oh my god. This just
Feels a lot like that golden edge.
shower.
You would know what a golden shower feels like?
No? You would apparently.
Takes one to know one. It doesn't work.
We smell our own. Okay, so
So it's not horrible, but it's not amazing. It's kind of pulling and tugging. Yeah, you went with a really aggressive razor over there, buddy.
I don't think it's aggressive. Oh,
Yeah, I've actually got the hang of it. It's not bad. Oh!
can you say that? Okay, so clearly this is a 70-year-old blade I'm using.
Not amazing. It feels kind of like for me, I'm not a big fan of the Lord of the Derbies. I mean,
Lord of the Derby.
Lord of the Derby. It feels like it's kind of pulling, tugging. I'm more in the Russian kind of blade realm, like
Rush.
Rapiers, Paul Silvers, Gillette Platinums, Feathers. Kai are my favorites, but this not so much.
No, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I instead of skin pulling, I use fur pulling, and this works a lot like skin pulling. Except if I have wet hands, this picks up much better. So
Yeah.
down here.
I am ready to strop this thing because I can't imagine it getting any worse. I hope it actually improves it. And I mean, so we're looking at an era correct razor. This was a Gillette razor from that era with a Gillette blade from that era, new old stock. So the fact that people were using these, that's what I always hear. I hear from people all the time, man, use a double-edged razor, they pulled, they tugged. And I mean, trying this out, it doesn't really give me a lot of hope.
I have hope. That's all I have about right now.
A new hope will emerge.
That kind of just tied everything together.
I know.
Our intro and whatnot.
Well,
Was that our intro?
I've also heard an old trick from a barber for barber hones that actually would lube
Wait,
it
a
up.
barber hone told you an old trick?
Yes, a barber hone. Hi, I'm a barber hone. He told me a trick, but no, I'm actually gonna wet my stone, and I'm also gonna put a little bit of shaving cream. I've heard it's almost like a slurry, kind of make a little slurry on here to really give it. I mean, we're going all out with the best performance possible on this. Here goes nothing.
So that's the barber trick. Creating a slurry.
Make a little slurry. What you do with whetstones, you
Make
always
a little slurry. Get down tonight. Okay. So I'm doing a circular pattern as recommended in the instructions.
I'm doing mine's more of a V-shaped channel, and I'm doing it as it says lengthwise, back and forth, no circles. You're doing like a wax on, wax off over there.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, Danielson. Now, I might be over honing. I think it was just. But after that shave, I'm not screwing around.
Seriously, I'm really hoping this is going to improve it because that wasn't very fun. Now I'm going to take any of the rust off, almost by kind of dipping my blade in some water, just to make sure that And I'll strop backwards on a cotton towel. Hey, I'm going all out here. I want to make sure this myth is confirmed.
I just don't think that's ever been said by anybody.
Strop backwards on a towel?
Cotton towel. I'm going to strop backwards on a cotton towel.
What kind of towel are you using? Rayon?
A Phoenix shaving towel.
Chill.
Chill out.
All right. So here we go.
Oh, I forgot. I'm still soaked up.
Actually,
Oh.
I mean, to say it's an improvement
Would be a stretch.
would be a stretch, no pun intended. I mean, it's maybe a shade of gray different.
Again, as humans, we're not as sophisticated as we think. Placebo is real. Everything is placebo. Now, I don't... However, I didn't do the slurry.
I'm also
No
getting...
hone has ever spoken to me.
Before, both sides pretty much felt the same. Now one side's not really cutting at all, and one side feels about the same, maybe a little bit better. So it actually kind of damaged one side.
Oh, well, there's that too. I did do the circular method. Maybe that was...
Yeah, I don't really want to continue with that. It's not exactly fun. It's kind of like a medieval torture device.
Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden? Excellent!
Yeah.
Well, folks, I think once again, I mean, we're beating a dead horse. These things really just don't work, and they were probably a money grab from back in the day. Despite this being from a reputable company at the time, I think they were just cashing in on this whole sharpener or honing craze.
Blades were also hard to get for a while, you know?
They were definitely hard to get, but this doesn't justify this. Again, placebo maybe?
I was reading that people lined up outside of stores because during like the wartime, you couldn't get blades. So maybe stuff like this really kind of thrived when blades were in such short supply.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. They
Any
definitely
kind
thrived.
of idea of getting longer life probably sold, but that's why, again, nowadays, we don't have that problem.
Yet. Stock up now, folks.
Y2K.
Why not? Anyways, thank you for joining us today for another excellent, most excellent episode of I'd Lather Be Shaving. I'm Douglas Smythe from PhoenixShaving.com.
And I'm at Pisarcik from Razor Emporium.
Our special giveaway today.
Special giveaway. We thought all things blades. We're going to give away, if you leave a comment below, a collector's guide to American razor blades. So if you're into blade collecting, if you want to find out all the things about the histories of blades, this book by Philip Krumholtz covers it all.
And this in itself is collectible, this book.
Yeah, this came out in the early 90s. So yeah, so comment, you guys could
change it up with the giveaway
could
today.
win this.
Also, be sure to pick one of these bad boys up if you have not yet. This is the official I'd Lather Be Shaving mug, and it contains an exclusive shaving soap, Pineapple Bay, that you'd be sure to love.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out! Yeah, this is pretty much. I'm just gonna be here for
Moral support.
Oral support.
Wow. You're like the C-3PO.
What does that mean?
Well, he was there for comedic relief. He wasn't really needed.
He was a trash can.
R2-D2 did something. He like shot a lightsaber.
He smoked cigarettes.
Projected.
He smoked cigarettes.
He smoked cigarettes. But C-3PO
R2,
did
are
nothing.
you smoking a cigarette? And what's up with C-3PO's like discolored leg? It's like everyone's talking about it now, like, oh, it's the Mandela effect. And I mean, I had the action figure when I was little, and I don't remember that yet.
It wasn't. They put this in after the fact. It's like when Jabba the Hutt is walking with Han Solo, like in like 1990s.
Yeah,
version.
yeah, the unreleased
It was
stuff.
unrelated.